V'zehu inyan mayin ganim. So we was explaining before the pasuk that the Yidden are called the Mayon Ganim, the well that waters the Ganim. The waters the Ganim, meaning the well that waters the Ganed. Because the Yidden are mamshich from the level of Seviv into the Mamer. So therefore, they're the ones that are the Mayon. They are the ones that are the well of the Ganim. So he says like this. Zeu inyan mayin Ganim, shekneses Yisrael, Ibchinas Hamayin, Hamashke as a Ganim. Knesset Yisrael, meaning the gathering of Yidden, the Yidden in general are considered called Mayim Ganim, because they're in the level of a Mayan that is Mashke de Ganim. Shekneses Yisrael Mashke de Ganim, Liyois Hamshochas, Tainu Elyoy, Me'oirein Sof Baruch Hu, to draw down the supreme delight from the Eirin Sof Baruch Hu, Ma'ahelem El Hagilui, from the hidden into the revealed. Began Eden HaElyoin, Began Eden HaTachten. In Gan Eden HaElyoin, Gan Eden HaTachten. That would basically be the level of the Mayon. And then we have the Be'er. As we learned, the two levels, Be'er Chafaru Sorim, as the pasuk, as he started off the pasuk of the Mamer, that we have the two madrigas, the two levels of a well and a Be'er. And he said that the well, brought down, is the water that comes from above. That's the Mayon that comes from above. The Be'er is what comes from the bottom. That is the Hamshocha Milmailo, is the Mayon, is the well. And then the Be'er is where it comes from below to above. So we have this, the Mayon Ganim. So first, they bring down the Hamshocha from the Eirin Sof into Gan Eden Hel Gan Tachten. They are the one, they are the well that water the Gan Eden Hel Gan Tachten. This revelation also extends below to the soul of the person. To be in the level of a Be'er, Hanivas Mimato Lemailo, that flows from above, from below to above. So what is this flow from above to below? So what does that do? So he says, to fulfill the pasuk v'ahavta as Hashem elekecha b'chol levavcha v'chol nafshecha. So that is the halah milmato l'maylo, to love Hashem with all your heart, with all your soul. Or and the Kamosha Kasuv, and also like the pasuk says, Eilecha havaya nafshi esachulu. To you, Hashem, I will carry my soul, raise up. So, therefore, these are the two levels of both being mamshich in the Lamailo, in the Gan Eden El, in Gan Eden HaTachten, and also the person to go up to Hashem. What the calculation is a very simple one. Hashem gave us a certain amount of years, and we have those years are designated for one purpose. The purpose is to elevate and to go ahead and connect to Hashem. Everything else isn't really important. So Hashem has created it, Hashem has formed it, and you gave it to us, and you're going to take it away from us. It was only given to the person for the amount of his lifetime. So therefore, in one's eyes, all the days of this world should be you're against you where you live. In other words, you're not just living here because to enjoy, you're here because Hashem put you here. Yeah, it's given to you. Hashem put you here to be here to do what you have to do, not just that you are here. Just like somebody throws something behind their back. So everything else in this world is not for any value. It's just like everything else is like the importance is like you throw it behind your back, not important. But the Elov Levada Yiyah Noises Nafshe. You should just, that's Elech Hashem Nafshi Yaseh means it's only to Hashem. You should carry your soul. Your want should only be for Hashem. Kol Yemei Chayei Ha'odom. Hashem Islab Shein Nafshi Begufay. Boilam Hazeh, all the days of the life of the person in which his soul is rest in the body in this world. It's only for him to be, for the person to be in a level above well. It can only flow dafka from underneath the ground. Why are we in this world? Is because this is the ground. This is the ground. In order to get the well to flow and to be beautiful, the water to be clear, it gets purified through going through all the channels under the ground. So you have to have it. Shayidei shahamayim helchim. Through the fact that the water goes through the earth of the earth, the dirt and the sand of the earth, they become sorted out. They become more pure. The water is purified. Likewise, the soul is sorted out more when it is fulfilled, when the soul fulfills the physical Torah mitzvahs. And also al yidei tikboides koyach nefesh halikis al nafsha bahamis. Also by the strengthening of the power of the godly soul. So one thing is you have to go through the physical world, but also through the challenges, the battles on the physical level in which you also have to struggle and fight the Yetzer Hara with the Nefesh HaBahamis, you have to fight. Nefesh halikis. Through the godly soul overpowering al nafsha bahamis, on its animal soul, la'akofyo, to subdue it, and to turn darkness into light. And therefore, the materialism of the body and the physicality of this world, it's only a passageway for the soul to go through. Its main connection, its main cleaving should be to its source, the living God. So over here, we translated the two levels of a mayon. And Be'er, the Mayon is the Amshocha Milmailo Lamato, and the Be'er is the Halo Mimato Lamailo. So it's bringing it down to Gan Eden and bringing it up Milamato from Milmahaza Lamailo. In the parentheses now, he's going to explain that within the Neshama itself we have both levels. In the nefesh itself, we have the level of Amshocha in which we're mamshich from the davening into the learning. That's milmailo, that's the mayon. And then we have the kima mitzvahs, which is milmat l'maylo. We can further say, shabenefesh gam ken yimotzei beis bechinas mayin ubeir. We can find the two levels of mayin and be'er within the neshama itself. Ukeniskar al posik by Yachperu Avda Yitzchok Hanal. Over there in the Mamer, it says that Mashem is boinen begidu be aimek machshavte begidula sein reisav baruchu bekrishma utfila, the fact that which the person reflects in the depth of his thought about the greatness of the blessed Ein Sof when he is saying the Shema and he is davening. Zahu mibchinas nohor yoytze me'eda. So that is the level of the river that comes out from Eden, which is the Hamshocha, which is Chochma Ubina, the level of Eden. This is Chochma Ubina. Then they both come together, Chochma Ubina, because we have Trein Rei in Chulu. They are two friends, the Loim Isparshin, they're always together. V'hu Mashke Sagon. So that waters the Gans Dorim Derais. There's 53 orders of the Torah. The portions of the Torah are 53. U'esek HaTorah. So U'esek Achar Kach, the fact that he occupies himself Daled Ames Shel Halacha Chulu, the 4 Ames of Halacha. Sheyumshach BaHaTorah Mibchinas Tainuk Elyon, to bring down in the Torah from the level of the Supreme Tainuk. So that is the level of Mayon, to be Mamshich, through the Chochma Ubina, to be Mamshich Tainuk in the level of Torah, in the Gan. The Gan is Torah. So to be Mamshich, the level of Tainuk in the Torah that he learns. So Inyan, Al Tfilosi Shidhei Smuchel Mitosi. So he said there was the prayer, he prayed, Abashol, he prayed in the Gemara, that his davening should be next to his bed. That means that when he gets up, he should daven right away. Why? Because we have to be mapshich through the davening, the level of tainuk into the Torah. So therefore we have to daven right away. It's kidei. So that the occupation of Torah should take place after davening. That makes your, so that your voice is sweet. So over there, the pasuk in Shir Hashirim, in where it says that your voice is sweet, and that is because it sweetens and it brings down the level of tainuk into the level of Torah. So this is the mayon, the well. The Mayin Ganim Zo Inyan v'Nor Yitzmeid. That the Mayin Ganim is the idea of Nor Yitzmeid. The Inyan Be'er. What is the idea of the Be'er? And Al Derech HaMevuer HaPosik Yenosi Hanal Be'inyan Yenosi K'shibchag V'Hasalah Al Zen Nemar Areini Es Ma'asechot. So he says the be'er is al derech mavur apos yonos and abinya yonosik shibchag v'hasela. So you have the yonosi. He says my pigeon, calling an expression of love to his love to HaKadosh Baruch Hu. So over there's also the expression that my pigeon, when it is b'chag ve'hasela, the word Chag ve'asela. I'm not sure exactly what the shorish, the word of Chag ve'asela, but it means when it's hidden inside of the stone. That is an illusion, like the water, the be'er that comes when it's from the hiding, from below, from the level of under the earth. That is over there. The pasuk says afterwards, "Areini es marecha." Show me your face, or show me your color, show me your beauty. Shezeu b'chinas er chayzer, which is this is a returning light, which is like about tshuva coming back. Asher al zeh amru b'mokim shebal tshuva emri emdim tzadikim guru em necholim lamed, that where Bal Tshuva stand, tzadikim can't stand. Why? The moshchin le b'chele yatir. They pull with more force. And likewise is the be'er that goes from below to above, and it is a returning light. And that's why this becomes even higher than the Mayim Ganim. In other words, first it comes from the level of Chokhmah. This is a returning light back from Malchus. Doesn't say specifically what it is. I think it's a level of mitzvahs maisis. Doesn't say that word here. Until it becomes living water mamish. It's higher than Nor, is not Mayim Chaim. This becomes Mayim Chaim, that it comes from the returning light, like the Baal Tshuva. So you have the Nohor, that's Nohor Yoitza Me'eder, that's the Amshochem Chochmah Bina. But then you have the returning light, which is even higher. Inami, Afsha Noru Gamke Bechinas Canal, B'inyan Mayim Ganim, even if the river is also the level of Mayim Ganim, so still in Kolzeh HaBe'er, so Mematl Mailo Yesh Bechinas El Yoyne Yeser Canal, B'inyan Shel Baal Tshuva, that they're a higher level, but tzarich li is kol yom b'tshuva. So basically, a person should be always in tshuva. So the level of tshuva, that is by the person that we say you have to be like about tshuva to return to Hashem. That's the higher level. That is through the avodah of the person below. V'zeu v'dibartem inyim v'dibartem el hasela v'nosan meimov. When you speak to the selah, it gives the water, which means that's the returning Chag ve'hasela, the higher level. Shalzen nemar ali be'er. The be'er comes up. V'hainu mamish ki inyan hareini es marecha the yoinosi b'chag ve'hasela, as the pasuk says over there, that you get the marecha, as he said in the Mamer, when the yoinosi chag ve'hasela. We have to look more in the actual Mamer over there to see. He's giving you briefly from what it says in the Mamer, but to really get the full picture, we need to look over there. Okay. So now he's going back to the pasuk that he started with over here. We said, Oz Yoshir Yisrael Shashir Azois, Ali Be'er and Ulah. He starts with the pasuk. So Ali Be'er, in the Chomer, that means the Be'er should go up. How does the be'er go up? So the pasuk says, "Chafaru asorim karu nidiviyam." So it was dug by the sorim. He's going to say the ovis and karu nidiviyam. So he continues now on his base. Achliyis gilui b'chinas be'er zu. In order to it to be the revelation of this be'er, tzarich liyos chafarua Korua. There needs to be both. You have to dug it, chafira ukriya. They're both digging, but one is digging and pulling away the bigger chunks of earth. That's the chafura, and the kriya is the smaller pieces, the sand, smaller things that are blocking the well from coming up. And basically in Avodas Ha'adam, there is the bigger stuff to deal with that are blocking the expression of the soul, and then there's smaller things. Chaviru kriya hi lahashlich es afar ha'oretz hasoismim es pia be'er. That is to throw away the dirt of the land, of the earth that block the opening of the be'er. Elo shachafira hu lahashlich es rigvei ha'oretz hagasim. That is the clunks of the earth, which are thick, big pieces. And the kriya is to get rid of, to throw away the pebbles and the thin sand. And likewise, one needs to remove kol hamastirim u'mechasim all that block and cover, and don't allow that hidden love, and to subdue the other side. Both things that are prohibited, to stay away from bad, that's to force yourself not to do wrong, not to do bad, stay away from bad, but also behein beheter. But also when it comes to permissible to force yourself, it says Kaddish atzmecha b'muterlach, to sanctify yourself and push yourself even what you're allowed to. Ubatel ritzoncha mipnei ritzonai, and to give up your will because of Hashem's will. So what you want, don't follow your wants, but go and follow what Hashem wants you to do. So this is already the madrega of extra to fight against the Sitra Achra, when it wants you to do something bad, and also push yourself the extra, but also behein b'kiyum hamitzvahs. In the mitzvahs itself, you have to push yourself. To push yourself, strengthen yourself, to learn Torah more than you're comfortable, more than you're used to. And to give tzedakah more than is your nature. And similar to this in all your avodah and everything. All of these things and things similar to this, and where you push yourself, those are digging. Those are the chafid and the kriya. What is he digging is lahavir koiches achumriyis shemitzad klipa, to remove the materialistic power that come from the klipa. Ulevatlon b'bchinas bittul lekamri, and to nullify them to total extinction, total battle, which is battle the tzoncha, to give up and nullify your wants, kidei legalis matspune ha'ava mehelem elagim, in order to reveal the hidden love from the hidden into the open, by pushing away all the things that are from the materialism and revealing your essence, the ava that you have inside you. It says, "Ubeis b'chinas elu the chafira kfiyah." This two levels, we talk about chafira and kriya, through which lasoisa b'chinas be'er, to make it into a level of a be'er, of a well. This is the same idea as explained in the verse. So there says also, Mishakela means a woman that doesn't, children don't last. Akora means a barren woman, what is a barren? What's the difference between akora? Akora means inyan afilu vlad, afilu is vlad in law. She doesn't even have carrying a place to carry the baby. So that means the two levels correspond to it, to the chafira and the kriya. So what is it? So it says over there, so what's the eitzah? So what do you do if you don't have even a place to be able to carry? Is lasis clay rekon. That is to create an empty vessel. In other words, for you to become an empty vessel, to be able to receive that, revelation, that birth, that level of love of Hashem, make that keli, make that empty keli. A heart which is broken and subdued, that's the level of chafira. That's the first level. But that's not enough. That he shouldn't turn his heart even to permissible things. That's the second for the mashakela. To get rid of the mashakela dakara. So this second level, that not to turn to, is bechinas kriya. That is the second level that we're looking at, the level of kriya. To throw away the pebbles and this thin sand. And when you do that, when you dig away, then will be the conscious, the hidden of the love, and it will be bechinas on the level of atispalel chana al havayim. And Chana prayed over Havayim Ayin Sham. That's what he explains over there. That's what it means also Ali Be'er. Go up the Be'er. To go up the Be'er means by getting rid and creating that klei rekom, that broken heart and subdued heart, to be able to be elevated. Ubchinas chafira ukriya zu nase al yidei bchinas sorim unediviyam. Who does it? It's done. It says sorim karun nediviyam. It's the sorim and the nediviyam. Who is this sorim? Sorim heim ha'avis. The sorim, those officers, those are the fathers. Specifically, ubchir ha'avis. Who is the chosen one of the others? Yaakov. That's Yaakov. Ki'inyan, like we say, Elekei Avraham, Elekei Yitzchak, then we say Velekei Yaakov. And Elekei Yaakov. That is B'toishas Vav HaMechaber Chulu. That's the Vav that connects on top of Elekei Avraham, Elekei Yitzchak, and Elekei Yaakov. Why is it Mechaber? She Yaakov hu HaKoilel Kol B'chinas HaOvis. Yaakov includes all the levels, side Avraham, level of Chesed of Avraham, side level of Gvur of Yitzchak, is included by Yaakov. Ki Yaakov Nemar, by Yaakov, the pasuk says, Kisoriso. By him it says Kisoriso, meaning for you struggled, but also Kisoriso means you become a sar. Soriso is Loshen. It's a language of Srora Umemshola Imelikim. You have dominated and you have ruled over the Elikim, Soris Melikim. When you're not Tzimtzum, which is Elikim, is the idea of Tzimtzum. Yaakov overcomes it. Because the truth of the matter is, the whole reason why the world appears to be a Metzias is Elikim, because it's a Tzimtzum, so we don't recognize and we don't see godliness. Yaakov battles with Elikim, which means he overcomes the Tzimtzum. He realizes that it's not a tzimtzum only relative to us, but not for Hashem. Hashem says, I did not change. And also, which means all the creation of the world did not, in fact, affect Hashem. There's nothing really besides Hashem. And everything for Hashem is like nothing. This, that the world appears to be an entity, something separate, that is the name of Elikim. The name of Elikim is the Mitzamtzem, and that hides his blessed revelation so that the world will block, obscure, we don't see. But Yaakov is Sarisa. Yaakov will bechinas Sar u'Moishel al bechinas Elikim. He dominates, he rules over the Elikim, Shalo Yastir v'Yalim Chulu, that it shouldn't block. Commercial Kosu, as the Pasuk says, that the Elikim to me is Avaya, the Gilui. So that means Kisorisem Elikim. What is V'ima Noshim? He also battled with Elikim, with the Tzimtzum, but with Amnoshim, Heima Malochim. He's battled the Malochim. Like it says by Avraham, Vayar V'hinei Shloisha Anoshim Nitzovim Olav. So 3 men. What is the 3 men? What's the noshim? Shabo Gimel Malochim B'Shvil Gimel Shlichus. There were 3 angels. Because why were there 3? They had 3 missions. And why? Lifi She'ein Malach Echos. And we want to say that Yaakov beat the Anoshim because a Malach has a lot of limitations. Why were there 3 Anoshim? Why were there 3 Malachim? Because one Malach cannot handle more than 1 Shlichus. L'she'ein Malach echad yochel lasis shtei Shlichus. 1 Malach cannot do 2 Shlichus. Ki ha-Malach hu shliach ha-hashpoah. The Malach is the agent of the flow. Shu b'chinas kli. He becomes the vehicle, the vessel, that in him and through him the flow goes through. He carries it from one place to the other. And in his kelech there is not the power. He cannot tolerate and limit shtei shlichus, 2 missions. Shein shtei hashpois. 2 hashpois. Why can't they handle it? Because the Malochim are from Briya, Yitzira, and Asiya. Shenemar u'mishom yipored. Over there is separation. Shekol davar. Every item is u'inyan b'fnei atzmi, is a separate matter. Can't do different things together. Everything is separate. That's why they have the limitations. They can't handle more than 1 shlichus. But by Yaakov it says in the pasuk, Vayoshar el malach vayichal. So Vayoshar means that he battled over, but he became a sar. But the Gemara says, this is a pasuk in Yeshaya, Vayoshar el malach vayichal in Yeshaya, Simon Yud Beis, pasuk Hey. So Mamer Azal, our sages of blessed memory tell us, Vayoshar means Yaakov nasis sar lemalach. He became a sar, a dominant for the malach. Ki Yaakov gufa the Eiraisa, because Yaakov is the body of Torah. He's the love of Torah. Kumesha Kosuv, as the pasuk says, Hakoil Koil Yaakov. The voice is the voice of Yaakov, which is reference to the Torah. Or the other pasuk says, "Vayokom edus b'Yaakov," which is Yaakov connected to the Torah. So Torah is not in the level of Pirut, not like Biyah, which is separate and cannot do different shlichus. Torah, it says, Namar Fakert. Over there it says, Achaz diber elikim, shtayim zu shamaiti. That Hashem said one, Anoichi v'layir lecha, were said in one. We heard two. We heard Anoichi. That means over there is the level of yichud, of unity. Everything is one. And we get two out of one. Or the other pasuk is, we say, Kepatish Yefeitzit Sela, that the words of Torah is just like a hammer that smashes a rock, which means, and there's all kinds of different shards and parts of the rock fly all over the place. So which means that Mikra Echad Mischalik Chulu, you have one pasuk, it's one pasuk, and yet it's divided into so many different interpretations. They're all part of Torah. So you have one point, and from one point, you have different things coming from it. So you have actually a level of unity. So the Torah is unity. And that's the level of Yaakov. For Torah comes from Chochmah, and the level of V'hi Chochmasu Yisbarich, and that is the Hashem's blessed wisdom. And by Hashem's blessed wisdom, we say the Ihu, the Garmo Yichad, Hashem and the Kelim are one. So there's a union. So the level of Chochmah with the level of the Ein Sof, with the Chochmah Yisbarich is one. Sha'akoil Nichlal B'chinas Achdus. Everything is in a way of unity. Lachein, and therefore, any part of the Torah, Dibur HaTorah, Afilu Pasuk Echad, or Yalocha Achas, even if you learn just one Pasuk, or you say one Alocha, Koilu Kol HaTorah Kula, it's really all one, in essence. So therefore, Yaakov becomes the Sar over the Malach because he has it all. The Malach, Mashenken HaMalachim, Shaloi Nita Lem HaTorah. They weren't given the Torah. Al Kain Ein B'Malach Koel B'Malach Lisba L'Kabel Shnei Shlichus. That's why the Malach cannot accept two missions. He can only accept one at a time. V'ayin Mashakosuf Mizeh B'Dibur HaMaschil Kenesher Yoir. Over there it explains the Gabe Matan Torah Nemar with regard to Rohinas Hanishma V'Shoimim Es Hanira. We were able to see what is normally heard and heard what it is seen. What does the mean? It means there's no limitations. There's no division. There is no separation between hearing and seeing. Because Torah comes from the level of Supreme Chokhmah. Over there is no dividing of these levels. Because that is higher than the world of separation. We find in the Berayim Mehemna, Parshas Pinchas, Daf Reish Chav Tes Amud Beis. So there it says, Ukepatish Yefeitzit Sela. To say that the hammer smashes the rock, but dos Sela the Itmar Bay. And this rock that we learn by it with the Bartem, Elasela li'einehem benosan memov. Speak to the star rock and it'll give its water. Ukumay merazal shono olav perik echad. Not sure what the Mamer Azal there is, but this is quoting from the Raya Mehemna. And this is the idea, the sorim, that Bechinas Kol Yaakov, it becomes like the well of water, the Hainu Mashakos, Mashakos Venosan Memo. So over there, he's connecting it. When you speak to the Sela, it's like breaking up the Sela over here, and the Sela is the level of Chochmah Ilah, and that brings about the water, the level of return, Ali Be'er, the Be'er Ma'am Chaim, and Venos and Meimov, and then it produces. V'ayim Bezoyer Chelik Aleph Davov Savim Beis Chelik Beis Dav Samach Da'odam Beis V'ayim Noit Chelik Gimel Dav Reish Mem Tes Beis Reish Ayin Tes Beis U'Likutei Torah Chukas. Okay, Hine. The Doster Shel Yaakov Ubchinas Rachmonos. Yaakov's level is Rachmonos. Chesed is Ava, is Gevura, and Tiferes Yaakov is Rachmonos, compassion. I'm Ashekosov Mizel Kamon Sevdira Maschel Mimona Yafer Yaakov. Alzen Nemar Yaakov Asher Poda Es Avraham. So Yaakov redeems Avraham, which means that Avraham is the level of Ava. And Yaakov brings out, he redeems Avraham, which means Ava. Yaakov brings out the Ava. Gilu Ava. That is revelation of the Ava. So the Ava is the Be'er, is the well. It's inside. But you got to dig the well. Who digs the well? That's Yaakov. So Yaakov opens it up. Gilu Ava. Shaboy va'yodei nase b'chinas chafiro kriya lebe'er hanivas memato l'maylo me'elam el hagilui. Through it becomes the digging. Through Yaakov becomes the digging. The Rachmonos, Rachamim, becomes the digging, and to bring about the well that flows on the Vez Matlamaylo, Magilo. Bezo Shekosu, Bezer Chelikal Vayetzev, Kuf Nun Beis Aleph, Yaakov Bulchadoy. Derech Zeh Niskenu Kol Seder HaTfilah. So on this path, the entire tefillah has been set up. Yaakov, the tefillah of Yaakov Rachamim. Waking up, arousing that love from the hidden to the open. By putting to your heart, Hashem said, and the world was created. You reflect. When you say Baruch Shomer V'Olam, what do you reflect? Mamer Echad Bilvad. Hashem just said one saying, and the world came into being. That's V'B'chinas Memalek Kol Alma V'Seif Kol Alma Chulu. So you see, one word made it all. Baruch Shomer V'Olam. Ve'ich Shoyfanim B'Rash Godel, and the Oifanim with great fanfare, Tzva Shomayim L'Chom Mishtachavim, from the psukim of the davening. So Ishtachavu Loy Nemar. It doesn't say they bowed once. Mishtachavim, they're constantly El Mishtachavim. Sheshtomit Mishtachavim. They're always Mishtachavim. Achach Evrim. Then we say Ovarachaman Racham No'aleinu. Have compassion, compassionate Father. Have compassion on us. The Midos Shel Yaakov, the measure of Yaakov. So that the physicality of the body and the world should not block and obscure, so that the revelation of love should be below as it is above. This is all what the davening does, and this is all the level of Yaakov, to bring around that level of recognition and feeling of love to Hashem. And that's why it's Yaakov that redeems Abraham, because Abraham is the level of Chesed, but Yaakov is the one that digs it, Velikei, the Bechirah, as I said before. So the digging becomes through Yaakov.